Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and just another impromptu live stream that putting together today. Was going to make a video again last night. Just had so much stuff on my plate, so I said, you know what? I enjoy these live streams anyway, so let's go ahead and let's just do it, and maybe take your questions as well. Um, Before I get started, wanted to just kind of lay out some little ground rules and some things that I ask from you guys. If you're with us on the live stream, please comment in the chat, put your questions in the chat, and of course hit that like button. If you want to support the channel with super stickers, super chat, that's always appreciated, and it definitely helps. If you're watching after the fact, of course, you can't contribute to the conversation, but you can still place your comments down below and maybe answer some questions. This is a community. And it seems like it's just me up here talking, but I do rely on a lot of the information that you guys contribute to the conversation, whether it's in the live stream or after the fact, by commenting or putting your questions down below. Not sure how many we're going to get. Usually we'll get about 80 people that are watching. And, only thing I ask is hitting that like button, whether you're watching it after the fact or watching it live. That's all I ask. It's a real quick thing. Do it once and you're done. And while you're at it, if you want to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And of course, I got a sale. And you know what? I was just going to tell you guys, my sales have been crappy. My sales have been pretty bad. Getting like, I average like about 6 sales on my main account is my average. So sometimes I'll get 10, sometimes I'll get 2 or 3. I've been like 3 or 4, but they've been smaller sales. And just now I got a $200 sale. So that's good. Good. So hopefully things start to turn around on that front. I was out in the garage, just really getting the listings done today. Been hovering around that 700 item mark. Been getting a lot of sales volume wise, really not a lot of big ticket items knocking me underneath it. But I have had some momentum going. And the thing is also, I've been really spending a lot of time in my other account, and I've built that up to about 100, 150 items. And that account has been really fun for me. So I've been almost like looking for reasons to just spend more time listing and going through a lot of the stuff that I have for sale, where the random stuff is just that random. And, it's just not as interesting. And I can really understand a lot of you collectors out there who are selling in a certain niche, why you do what you do, and even why you do it when sales are slow, why you continue doing it. Now, I haven't had that problem that other account. It's pretty good. Auctions seem to be the way for me on that account. But I can understand why you sell and are so devoted to the categories that you sell in. You probably know a lot about that particular category. You enjoy sourcing for that type of item. And I totally understand. Whereas a month ago, I still probably would have had an idea, but you have to, I guess, be in it to understand and do it to understand fully what a vintage, antique, or even collectible seller has to deal with, and why they enjoy selling. Because a lot of times I'll look at a store and someone's asking me to do a store review, and why do you sell that? There's other stuff that you could be selling, but I get it now. I totally get it. So want to say hi to a lot of you that are with us right now before we kind of get started. I don't have a whole lot today, but this, as normal, this show relies on your participation. And I want to thank Elio Mora for being here right on time. Already had a comment in the chat. What's the topic about? Well, the topic is going to be, talk about maintaining seller status. A lot of the content that I come up with, I just don't come up here and just start talking. I look for things to discuss, and a lot of it's driven by posts that I see on the eBay seller forums, or even on some of the Facebook forums that I look at. I try to help others. That's kind of the main reason why I go onto those posts. Try to help others that are asking questions. And when I see something that really strikes me, I think about, well, what if I made a video about this? And of course, you guys know, you've been watching my channel, there's been many videos that I've scrapped because it's just, I go through the motions, make a video, and then say to myself, would I want to watch this? And um, so one thing I wanted to say real quick before I kind of get into any more of this, I read your comments all the time. I take to heart a lot of what you guys have to say because I do value your opinions. It means the world to me. Um, what kind of gets me, and it still does. I mean, we could talk about people that are trying to troll. We could talk about people who mean well but come off wrong, because when we're dealing with text and typing, sometimes what you say can be taken the wrong way. But sometimes I'm up here making videos. I want to help people out. I don't have all the answers. I just relay what I've seen and another sale. No, it's a payment. Okay. But I relay what I say to you from my experience, other people's experience that post this, that reach out to me. I have conversations. I read these forums. I take all of that and I try to bring it to you guys. That doesn't mean I have all the answers. That means that I have experiences. And sometimes you have a different experience, you have a different interaction with an eBay rep, and that becomes your reality. And when it becomes your reality and it's different than what I'm up here saying, sometimes it's like, this guy's full of hot air, and I'm gonna call him out on his BS. And I just wish that some of these people, and some of you mean well, that you just kind of take it a little lighter, because it ain't all that serious. I'm here to try to help. I'm not here to try to blow smoke up, people's rear ends. I'm simply just trying to help. And I'm not flouting anything. I'm not taunting you with anything. I'm a seller that's trying to get through day after day. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm all that in a bag of chips, because I'm not. And I just want you guys to take it for what it is. So whatever I say in these live streams, sometimes I misspeak too. You guys know I'm not the best speaker, and because I'm a reseller. If I was that great, I'd be out in the corporate world somewhere. I'm doing what I can to try to help others, and that's kind of what my message is. So with that said, I'll kind of move on, but I just wanted you guys to know my intentions are genuine, and don't attack the messenger. If you have, of course, you can disagree with me all you want, and I will have that conversation with you, but just do it in a way that's respectful. That's kind of all I'm saying. If it flips, it ships is in the house. Yo, thanks for hanging out with me today. Jana says, hey buddy, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Here's Ed, the reselling writer. Thanks for making it this time. I appreciate it. And I always try to help out when I can. That's if it ships, it flips. If it flips, it ships. Cool videos today. Same here. Crap sales. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. Thankfully for the sale that I just had, I've been dealing with a lot of low dollar sales, and it's getting kind of concerning, to be honest with you. Ed says sales have been pretty bad as well, but I've noticed that a lot of my high dollar items are the ones that are selling. Up until a few minutes ago, I wasn't able to say that. Jana says, my sales suck too. Chucky says, what do you sell? I sell pretty much anything that you can buy on Amazon that may be sent back as a customer return, whether it's new, still in sealed packaging, or you name it. If you've ever watched Franchise Kicks, a lot of the same stuff that he pulls out of his boxes is kind of what I pull out of my boxes. I just sold a Sony MX-1000M navy blue wireless pair of headphones. I actually had two of them. I kept one for myself because my Bose was really getting old. I really enjoy it. So sold that for $199 plus, I think, $10 shipping. And those things retail for like $300 brand new. So it's an open box situation. And if I had more of those, I would be in really, really good shape financially. Let me put it that way, because those things sell really well. And I think my cost in that, if we cost average everything out, was like $20. We have Doug in the house. Yo, John. Doug from the UK saying hi. Thanks, Doug, for showing up and hanging out. Ruth Collins says, I thought it had this thing figured out, feeling discouraged. Been selling a year or so, I guess is the first true summer slowdown with a 2K item store. Part of the game. Thanks. I think so. Yeah, this is part of the game. Slow summer sales is always a thing. People are choosing to spend the extra money that they do have on, of course, their gas tank to go places. If they are going places, we went out to eat. People are still going out to eat. Restaurants are still getting a lot of people in. But I think because they're out and about, there's less focus on what's on eBay, what's on Amazon, unless I absolutely need it. And that may be what it's about. Once the weather starts getting back to, rain and not as sunny and nice outside, or kids back in school, people are going to be at home more, and that's going to be the thing. People are going to be able to have more time to look at eBay more than they have right now. Ida Hat, greetings. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Gordon Koklaw with promoted 11 to 2, or you might mean 1 to 2% as standard. Sellers put prices up to cover it. Can see eBay putting up by 5% just to keep shareholders attractive. Yeah, I could see that. It's all about the shareholders. It's never about the seller experience. And in fact, I can kind of argue it's not even really about the buyers. They're losing a lot of buyers. They've been losing a lot of buyers, and it's pretty much that kind of mentality where the shareholders pretty much are the ones they have to make happy, because if they're not happy, then they start selling off their shares and they lose a lot of money, and eBay doesn't want that. Let's see. Collecting Chaos. I just walked in, turned you on YouTube, and there you were. Lucky me. Well, lucky me that you're here with us. So thank you for hanging out. Ping G, good afternoon from Anaheim. Love Anaheim. Place I like to be this time of year to watch my Angels play, even though they're not playing very well lately. So let me get kind of started here. Like I said, don't have a whole lot of material, but I think it's still an important message. And the post that I read was one where someone was discouraged. They said, look, my eBay account was knocked down to below standard, and it took me like 2 to 3 months to get back just to a level where I wasn't getting hit with a lot of fees. And there's a lot of things that this person found out that they had to deal with because they were put in eBay timeout, which is the equivalent of below standard. And you never want your account to get down to below standard, because what happens is eBay doesn't want you to be a seller, to be honest. Once you're below standard, if eBay could do something to make you go away and never come back, that's kind of what they do. For instance, they jack up your rates to 6% more than what somebody else would be charged with. So that right there is definitely putting you behind the 8 ball. You're up against competition, and now your margins are even smaller. You cannot use promoted listings, and for some of you, that's not a big deal. But for, I'd say, a good 70% of sellers out there who are in high competition markets, that is kind of the difference between being on page 2 and being on the page 10, or not even being seen at all. And eBay has in their policy that they don't even have to show your items in search. So I think there's a lot of throttling going on, and things of that nature. Now, what you want to focus on is trying to become top rated. And I mean, if you're above standard, which is kind of average, it's fine. But you really want to become top rated, because I do believe, and I'm sure this is the case. Of course, eBay won't come out and say it, even in their own policy, but it does help you when you're dealing with best match search. So if I have an item at the same price as, say, the next guy, and I'm top rated and they're above standard, that's going to be in the calculation as to where my item appears in that best match search. And I don't know exactly what the penalty is for not being top rated seller, but I really am a firm believer in that. Becoming a top rated seller, you have to have an eBay account for at least 90 days, a seller account, have at least 100 transactions and 1,000 in sales with US buyers over the last year, 12 months. Comply with eBay's selling practices policy, and it's kind of convoluted, a lot of stuff, but it's just pretty basic. And then meet the requirements for transaction defect rates, cases closed without seller resolution, and late shipment rates. So If you have a lot of defects, what's a defect? We talked about that on some of the videos before. Defects are when eBay has to step in on your behalf to do simple things like accept a return, to do simple things like approve a return once it's shipped to you. Ship is, things like refunding a buyer once you've received the item. I think that kind of falls into that as well. That plays an important role. Late shipments. If you are over, I think 3% in late shipments, so 3 out of every 100 items you ship are late. You just forget to go to the post office or whatever it is. That can put you into a situation where you're at above standard and not top rated. Then you have the top tier of that, which is top rated plus, and that is the top rated plus seal will just be displayed prominently in search results and in the listing description. Again, I think you get a boost in best match search. As a top rated seller, you can qualify for these top rated benefits. You have to have 1 day handling and 30-day or longer free returns. And it's possible to be top rated, sort of a semi top rated plus, have half of your items that there's a 10% discount on your final value fees because you offer free returns. And let's say you have a lot of high value or large items where you're not spending $20 or $30 for a return label, and you choose not to offer free returns on those. For those, you're really not considered top rated plus, and you don't get that 10% discount. So your returns have something to do with it as well. If you have high returns, if your returns are in what is called very high, I think you have to have 10 transactions or more in any given category that you sell in, that can knock you down to above standard. And so these are all things you want to avoid, because if you are in a situation where you're below standard, again, you have that 6% additional final value fee. You have a situation now where you're definitely being handicapped in search, or maybe not even at all. Sometimes they'll choose to withhold your funds. They can restrict you from even selling, because they don't want your business if you're down to that level. And, to me, I don't know of any serious sellers that are down there. I think that kind of happens to where you're kind of focused on eBay and you're kind of not. And you really, if you are serious about this, if it does give you supplemental, at the very least, supplemental income to what you're currently doing. I know it's tough if you have a 9-to-5 and you got to focus the time on eBay. But if you're serious about this extra income, you really have to pay attention to eBay and basically do all the steps that are required, whether it's, getting back to your buyer, whether it's, getting that return request in a timely manner. Don't let things time out. When eBay gives you a date to do something by, do it. It doesn't feel like we have as much time or as much leeway as a buyer gets, but still follow the process. And there's really no excuse if you're full-time and you're really ignoring these things. This is part of the process. I know it's fun to go source. I know it's fun to ship. I know it's fun to do certain things. And for some, it's not fun to do those things, but you have to do it anyway if you're serious about making this work. Lastly, so that's kind of what I have to say. If you have any questions about that, put your comments and questions down below. The only thing that I want to talk about is, we talk about promoted rates. The 11th of July, you have to be at least 2%. So what I'm doing is I'm introducing new products that I list at 2%, just starting it off there. I'm not waiting until the 11th of July. I'm just doing it now. And when my listings get to be 30 days, it's time to get serious. I don't want to open a museum, so I'm trying to get those items listed. I will then take those listings and go at the recommended rates. So whatever the recommended rate is, I'm capping it off at like 8%, because to me, giving eBay 13% plus another 8 or whatever it is just to me a little bit more excessive than, say, Amazon would charge. And maybe for some of you, being up in the teens as far as promoted listing rates is where it's at, but I ain't there yet. I cap it off at 8%. That's what I do. and I then do the sell similar thing. I go in, I really do research on that item. Why isn't this item selling? I try to understand, am I priced too high? You know, hey, is there something about that title that helped that item sell and I'm not using it? So maybe I need to rework my title. Maybe, just maybe my photos stink. I'm not immune to any of those things. I'm up here telling you guys about it all the time, but sometimes I get into this mode where I'm trying to list fast and I don't really do my best. And I come back and go, well, why did I do that? And so I improve the listing, and I usually do that for about 10 to 20 listings that are about to refresh on a daily as they're recycling in my account. So what rates are you guys using? Put your comments down below. Let me know in the chat. Are you, I mean, this is for the folks that are using promoted listings. If you're not using promoted listings, I understand it. My other account, I'm not using promoted listings. It just doesn't make sense. But if you're in high competition categories, or you're selling items, let's say you're selling like Apple AirPods, if you don't promote, you're really reliant on that low price search, and you're really going to have to hope that you're the lowest price, and that's how you're going to be seen higher in search when they do that, when they use that filter to find the lowest price. But if we're just dealing with best match, that's all I'm kind of referring to, is the sellers that rely on those buyers who don't want to use the filter. They just are looking for an item. Here's my organic search results. And, you know, if you're not within the first page or maybe in the second page, good luck. You're going to have a hard time selling. So that's why we use promoted listings. So I want to know what you do. If you're successful, if you've noticed the difference between, say, if you're at 1% still and at the suggested rates. So please comment down below on that. Let's see. We have Yami Valdez. Hi, John. Thank you for everything. I learned so much from you. You know, again, I don't have all the answers, but thank you for hanging out, because we can learn together, right? I can learn from your experiences. I've actually answered quite a few people's comments, and they said, hey, have you heard about this? No, I haven't seen that before. I'm learning this as I go. So that's awesome. Let's see. LSGS Rob says sales have been pretty consistent here. Some days are slower than others, but on average, overall, everything has been good and on the up and up. Ed says, as much as I think it doesn't help much, I was able to keep my Posh Ambassador 2 status. Might not help, but we have to do what we can. I still have my, I don't know about anything higher than just Posh Ambassador, but I checked my account because I've been cross-posting with Prime Lister. I use the tool. I'm not just blowing smoke about it. I do use the tool. And I'm still at ambassador status, and it was something that was really important. We did all the following and the sharing, and with other people. It's just a lot of work, you know. And thankfully, again, this is a plug for Prime Lister. They have an assistant that takes that whole social media aspect out of it, and it does a lot of that work for you. So the links in the down below, if you are at all interested in Poshmark, cross listing over there, cross listing to Mercari, even Etsy, give that tool a try. Get, I think, 14 days now, and use my link down below and see if you like it. Janet says, you're so great. Thanks for all you do for us. Well, I mean, I'm probably not great. I'm just an average guy, but thank you. I'm just here to try to do all I can to help as many people as I can. And honestly, I enjoy it. So, Gordon says, with promoted, I already read that one. I'm sorry. I'm kind of going back and forth here, but I need to catch up too. Biff Boffo, if you can't keep top rated, there's no hope for you. The bar is not set that high. It isn't. But, you know, if your heart's not in it, if you're just kind of writing it in, if you're just the kind of person that's just not motivated to even look at your eBay account every day, you're going to miss out on opportunities for instance, a customer may not be happy with an item they bought from you. You wait a couple days, they're hitting you with a negative. If you get back to them in a timely manner, they appreciate it, and that may just diffuse the situation to where all it is a return, and you don't have to deal with a lot of the garbage that, you know, negative feedback and things like that comes along with that. So, you know, there's not a whole lot I can do to give advice to people who aren't even motivated to check their account on a daily basis. And there's people out there, And they wonder, well, I have items listed. Why am I not getting sales? Because you're not playing the entire game. It's not just enough to make listings on eBay. You have to play the whole game. Check your summary tab, clear it. Make that your only practice. Clear your summary tab. It'll tell you anytime you have a message from a buyer, a return, something that they want you to address, it's always going to be in there. If you keep it clear, then you don't have it. You've done everything you're supposed to do as a seller. Let's see. Josh says, I used to do 6 to 8%, but the last month or so, I switched to about 2%. I've seen decline in sales, thinking about switching back. And I think it's really a good idea to find that sweet spot for the type of item you're selling. And if that means you're even above the suggested rate, it's all about making sales, in my opinion. And I think I kind of jumped down way too far, and I apologize. I want to miss a lot of your comments. Deportes en el Recuerdo says, warning, I received a extra charge for, or maybe just a charge for $33.05 for FedEx shipping because the address eBay provided was wrong. FedEx had to correct it. So instead of charging me $12.65, they charged me $33.05. And it wasn't the address eBay provided you. That's the address the buyer provided you. And I've had that happen before. I don't use FedEx. I made videos about a year and a half ago where they were hitting me left and right. I think over $300 in various overages. And normally it's about an $18 difference. And yours seems to be about there, $21 or something like that. So UPS Ground is what I use, and I really don't have a lot of problems with them. Every once in a while you get something funny, but nothing like that. Kevin Hawthorne, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for hanging out with us today. IGEO, was that disclaimer about having all the answers about me? It was. And you know what? It wasn't in a negative way. You know, to me, I appreciate your feedback. You're honest about it, right? There's a lot of people out there that'll just attack me in a way that's just not fair. But you were fair about it. You know, you could have not responded to my last message to you. And I appreciate your reply coming back. And it helped me understand where you were at and you weren't coming from that place. But believe it or not, there's people who will watch this channel. They will see all the stuff I'm trying to say. And then they'll say, well, why did you say it that way? Or why did you use the word this way? Or, you know, enough with your patches already. Because I talk a lot about my patches, right? Because I'm excited about them. And it's like, if that's all you can take from this video is finding ways to like just bring me down or, you know, anything I'm doing down, what's the point? Why would you waste your time? But you did it in a way that wasn't like that. So I just want people to understand that we're not always going to be able to agree, and we're not, I'm not always going to have the answers, but I want you as the viewer to know that it's not done. It's not coming from a place where I'm Mr. Know-it-all, because that's the furthest thing from the truth. And I appreciate your feedback, but I wasn't going to put your name out there. I certainly wasn't. But now that you mentioned it, continue what you do, continue leaving the feedback that you do, the comments down below. And I know now where you are coming from, so I'm not going to take it in a bad way. That makes sense. Janet says, man, peeps have no problem throwing money, $1,000 at sneakers. I would like to know where those whatnot sellers are getting their goods. You know, it's tough to say. We had that whole incident with that other channel, which I don't have a problem with, but it was a big thing for a while. Still don't know about that. And I don't like to get into like, where did people get their stuff? eBay at some point will ask you, like they asked me a few years back, or a couple years back, to show where I got my merchandise, and I had to show invoices that I had for liquidation. At the reselling writer, that's why I don't like using FedEx. I've had the extra charge happen to me before. It happened to me a lot, and I guess they're not changing it. And what I found the problem was eventually is I don't have any packages here because they're all gone for the day. My packages are already shipped out. But I do, let's say I have this box, okay? And the item inside the box, to me, you know, I've seen labels on these boxes and they were shipped back to Amazon. And that seems kind of suspect to me. It's like, wow, I'm surprised it even made it there without getting broken and damaged. It's fine, but I'm not willing to take that chance. So if I can't go in and wrap the item inside the box, I will then just maybe put 2, maybe 3 layers of bubble wrap on the outside of the box really well. And then I'll take, I don't think I have any right here with me. They're behind me. I'll take a poly bag, and I have various size poly bags, put the box in the bag, wrap it with eBay tape around so it forms. It's the same shape as a box. It just has that protective layer. The porch pirates, they're going to happen, but they don't see what this is. It just looks like a white package. And FedEx had a problem with that. They did not like that type of packaging. And I would even put a layer of clear tape around the whole thing so that the pieces of the poly bag wouldn't stick out and maybe catch in their conveyor belt. That was a concern that they had. UPS ground, they don't give me that kind of a problem. So for me, if you're shipping items and you're coming across extra fees, try UPS ground. I think that's probably, and the rates are about the same. They're very comparable. Peter Harmer, love the channel. At this point, there's not much available in the UK. I look as a collector 50 years. eBay has changed so much. It's not for the better. I'm sorry to say it's not. And if they were truly a seller-focused site, which there's no reason why they can't be, and appease their shareholders, the experience would be a lot better. But I really think it's maybe to the point where they have too many sellers on the site, and they just want to weed out the bad sellers. Maybe they treat us all like a bad seller in hopes that some will go away. I mean, they've been losing sellers, and it really hasn't changed their mindset on some of the policies that they introduced to us. So for me, I think that's part of the game plan, is to sort of get rid of a lot of the buyers. I'm not buyers they're getting rid of as well, but a lot of the sellers on the platform, if you're just asking my opinion. Why Worka? I would like to bring up something I found out about yesterday. If a buyer claims that the item they receive is not authentic with no proof, eBay keeps the final value fee. I do know something to that effect. If, well, they can always say something's item not as described. I haven't seen that. I might be wrong, but maybe I'm just not focused on that happening. It's certainly possible. I'm going to have to do some research to see what eBay's policy says. I mean, they shouldn't be doing anything that's not covered within their policy. Someone wants to answer that, please comment on that in the chat or down below. If it flips, it ships. I don't know how to explain in chat, but basically I adjusted all my prices just below market value. When people look at your store, they'll need to see value. Well, I agree to an extent. As a video I actually was making, and I was making as a part of one of my other videos, but of course, you know me, I kind of get out on my tangents. And in this, another sale, awesome. Okay, good. You guys are good luck for me. But in this video, I was looking up, I think JBL Charge 5 Bluetooth speakers. I think that's what it was. And I did a search, and I'm like, wow, this seller has them for $143. In fact, they've got 2 listings that are sponsored at $143. But okay, fine. I see they're high up in the search. 4 down, there's one for $119. Same conditions. Open box. I did a search just for open box. So then I go into solds, because that's what's important to me. I don't care what people are trying to sell their item for. If the buyer, and there's a gnat flying around me, sorry. If a buyer is buying an item, that is what, to me, is where the data really is important. So you go in, you click on sold, and you find, wow, this 143 seller, they're selling quite a bit of them. In fact, if you look deeper in the listing, they've sold like 100 at that price. But the poor guy selling at 119, yeah, he sold one recently, but he's only sold 2 out of 10. You'd think that those 10 would be snatched up. And why? Why is that? I mean, he's offering a much better value. So I hear what you're saying. The low price does make a difference, but I really, really think it's like that buy box mentality on Amazon. Some of you guys don't sell on Amazon. Maybe you just shop on Amazon. But how many of you guys go to Amazon and you find an item and it says, the main picture's there. There's only one listing. It's not a bunch of listings. It's one listing. It says $40. And that's the item. Now, it does say, if you look to the right, it does say selling starting off at $35 used and new, or whatever it says. How many of you click on that to see what other buying options there are? I would like to say it's probably a very small percentage. Most people are just going to buy with what's in the buy box, and they're going to move on. And the buy box on eBay is a lot like that. There is no buy box on eBay, but if you're within the first, I'd say 10 listings on the page, page one, that's the buy box on eBay. I mean, people might scroll down and maybe you're on the bottom of page one. Maybe you're stuck on page 5. You are, for what, the way it's set up, you are always going to have to deal with, you're going to be at the mercy of those buyers who are looking, and this stupid gnat's going to drive me nuts. You are always going to be at the mercy of a buyer that is willing to click down to page 5 to find your item, no matter how good your price is, if you're stuck down there. So it's a little different ball game, and price is just one part of the equation. Your title, your photos. That $119 seller had one photo. Looked like he took a photo in his living room with it on the coffee table. Didn't look bad, but it didn't have that clear white background, so it was never going to appear in Google search. One photo. And, for me, there's a lot of things you can do to your listings. I look at stores all the time, and I take things that I can use, but I also come away with, wow, this person, they could do so much better with their listings. But it is what it is. Peter says, can I be a top rated seller as none business and strictly private? I don't know if you're offering private sales. I don't know if that's even covered. I didn't see that anywhere. Someone has an answer to that, but I don't know. I don't have an answer to that one. Let's see. You do need to have 30-day returns and 1-day handling time, of course, for a top rated. You need to have those things, and you need to have a certain amount of sales. I think I covered that earlier, but yeah, and it's just a matter of time. You may not be there yet, but just keep adding more listings, making more sales, and if you're doing everything you can and following up with the things that are in your summary tab, then you'll be fine. Yeah, Collecting Chaos says eBay asked me to put in for top rated and then said I didn't qualify. Just didn't sell enough. Yeah, that's one of the requirements. You have to have so many items sold, but just keep listing, keep plugging away. You'll get there. Gordon says extra security and sign-ins. eBay's wish to protect people's accounts by adding a layer of security like receiving a text code. It's a pain, to be honest, which has started in the UK. It's been a pain here. I toggle back and forth between accounts, and on my main account, it keeps asking me do I want to use my PIN? And I say yes, and then I enter my PIN in. Why does it have to ask me if I want to use my PIN every time? And I told them yesterday I want to use my PIN. Why do they have to keep asking me if I want to use my PIN? It just kind of drives me crazy. If it flips, it ships one. I told eBay I have no 30-day returns on, but will refund. They say next month I can be top rated. I don't know who's telling you that. You do need to have your 30. No returns is really not going to get you there. You got to have returns set for 30 days. And that doesn't have to be free returns for top rated. Now, for top rated plus, it does, but not for top rated. As far as promoted listing rates, Ed says he puts everything mostly at 6.5%. So, okay, I capped mine. I did a bulk edit on mine where I wanted to have the recommended rates assigned for, like, I think it was the other day I did it for most of my listings, and I put 8% as the cap. So if some of these items you have like 12%, how do you make money? I mean, I guess you can make money, but it's just crazy how high that is. Another observation I've made too is you got a lot of sellers that are overseas in China. We're competing with that too in a lot of categories. They get to have super cheap shipping. I forgot what it's called, something post. but they get to ship to buyers in the US from China for like pennies on the dollar as compared to you. We're competing with these sellers that don't have really the same costs associated with those sales. And I would like to see eBay do something about getting rid of those sellers. This is eBay US, and it's just not an even playing field. And then even then, you're getting items. It's not really helpful to the selling experience or the buying experience, because these buyers are getting their items like 3 weeks later, sometimes even longer than that. And I'm going to go crazy with this gnat, I tell you. But for me, it's just not an even playing field. And if you got rid of the thousands of sellers, the Chinese sellers out there, we would be in a place where we would see a lot more buyers for our items, and it's just not going to happen to me until that happens. So we can up our rates, and that's a good way to start. But I really think that as sellers in the U.S., we're up against the 8 ball because of who we're actually asked to compete against. Ping G says, I don't promote. I give eBay enough of my money. I do send offers to watchers, and I do have volume pricing. And sometimes you don't have to. It just depends on the type of item, your competition. Like I said before, pricing, it does make a difference if someone's doing a search based on price. So those are definite factors. But if you're making sales without promoted listings and you're not unhappy with the volume of sales that you have, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm willing to bet, though, if you have competition and you did add promoted listings and sort of played into eBay's game, that they would probably reward you with more sales. No One Design 2. Hey, John, just a quick question. Did you get a task notification on adding a video on your storefront from eBay? No, but I got a task notification to add 3 more things to my storefront. And I did that. And the first time it locked up. So I tried it again, and it didn't clear that. It keeps wanting me to go in and add the 3 things, like a banner, wants me to add items to my storefront so people can see. I even went on my other account and I did that with the patches, set it up, thought it was great, locked up on me, refreshed the page, went back in, and it said it's submitted, but I went back to my summary page and it still wants me to do that. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but it's somewhat annoying. And I see how a storefront is really important if you have a niche, because people are looking, you put your best items up there, it's going to attract people to look further into your store. But if you have an everything store like my main store, it's not that important to me. Let's see. If it flips, it ships. Says top rated doesn't matter. If I have 4 more cases of this hairspray, they would sell super fast for 5,000. Peter says sales from UK to US are just not worth doing now, even with global shipping. One thing also want to get you guys attention on, from eBay US to Germany. I don't know about any other country to Germany, but as of the 1st of July, if you're not an approved seller, you're not going to be able to ship or sell any more items to customers in Germany. And basically what it says is there are important updates on how you sell goods to German customers on eBay. Starting July 1st, 2022, it is legal requirement for sellers of commercial goods to Germans to have valid, what is called a Lucid-IDNR, that's a packaging license apparently, connected to their eBay account. As part of your extended producer responsibility, you are obligated to follow these regulations set by the German Packaging Act, Verpack G, I guess is the name. These regulations focus on sustainability and are designed to prevent and manage waste. To comply with these changes, you'll need to license your packaging with the dual system and register with Lucid Packaging Register. Now, from what I understand, it's like 30. Someone said it was like 36 euros. I don't know what that translates into US, like $40. Even if it's $20, the fact that we have to pay just to be licensed to ship. I sell a lot of patches to Germany, but still, I don't think I'm going to play that game. So that's the deadline is the 1st of July. So if you do a lot of sales to Germany, you may consider signing up. Visit Lizenzero, 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 a company that offers a straightforward way to license your packaging digitally using the Intercero system. Please use the website and contact the team if you have any questions and need guidance. So there you go, for any of you that are affected by that. Hawk Feather Stories got here late. Savage Pickers here. Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Hopefully this information is interesting. Biff says, love the calm, common sense approach to this channel. Well, that's the only thing I can give you. I think that a lot of times I lack the knowledge on certain things, and I just try to tell you what makes sense to me. Even if I do know the answer and it doesn't make sense, at least say, hey, common sense to me says this shouldn't happen, but it is what it is. Collecting says, what can we do about buyers that don't pay other than to cancel the order? Block them. And I know that's probably what you do, but a lot of times these buyers, they don't even read their messages. So sending them a message doesn't do a whole lot. It's just block them and move on and relist it. I know that's not the answer you don't want to hear, but there's really not a whole lot more you can do. eBay has promised us, and now they're trying to be like Whatnot now. If you haven't heard, they're investing money into live auctions, which I don't think is a bad thing, but deliver on the promises what you've told the sellers. Now, and that is instant payment for not only the best offers that we receive. Okay, they get a deal and they get to put it on layaway. That doesn't make sense to me. Deliver on that. And then what was next beyond that was instant payment for folks who are buying your auctions. Now, for the auctions I run on my collectible site, I don't care if they pay right away because I know they're going to pay. They're waiting for other auctions to end. And for me, I wouldn't have that instant payment selected. On my main account, I don't get a lot of people who buy multiple things. They find the one item they like, they're looking for. They don't care if they're buying it from me or you. They find it, they buy it, they get a discount with best offer. Or if I happen to have it on auction, which I really don't on that account, I want my payment. I don't want to have to wait 4 days before I can cancel it due to non-payment. In fact, I think eBay is kind of hoping that you forget to cancel that because you have 30 days to do it. And then you're out. You're stuck with those final value fees. You don't get those final value fees until you cancel that order. And they're hoping that you forget. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just make it an automated process? Wouldn't that make sense? But they're delivering on a lot of other things than delivering upon the seller experience, which, again, I just think that eBay isn't all that in tune with the sellers. Maybe if you're a larger seller, I mean, they even talk about having dedicated reps to larger sellers that can do all these wonderful things, changing your promoted listing rates and your prices within the market. Isn't that wonderful that eBay would dedicate those kind of resources to those kind of sellers? But the basic things that we want, the everyday seller, we're waiting. And it wouldn't surprise me if the instant payment for best offers and auctions, that promise didn't get pushed back to 2023 or beyond. Ciro says, I lost my top rated due to out of stock items. I just got it back to top rated. Yeah, you got to be careful. Out of stock is horrible because you get so many defects depending on how many sales that you've actually made. I think it's like 3 or sometimes more if you have a lot of sales. But I'm just convinced, even if it's 1 and you're still top rated, that cancellation is a lot like receiving a negative feedback. That 24 to 48 hours after that happens, your account is affected in a negative way. That doesn't mean you won't get sales. That just means that your views and your traffic is probably going to drop a little bit, in my opinion. And I'm further convinced of that, at least with negative feedbacks, because eBay wouldn't even answer my question when I posed that question. What's the negative effect against a seller within a 24 to 48 hour period once you receive a negative feedback? And they wouldn't answer it, and I haven't been invited back since. So what does that tell you? I mean, sometimes it's the non-answers that answers your questions. Hawk Feather Stories, the sales have sucked this week. I called because it was bad and no offers to send. Yeah, it's really pitiful. I mean, I need to do these live streams like every day throughout the day. You guys have been lucky for me. I've had 2 sales since, but um, otherwise it's been pretty bad for me too. And there's a lot of different factors involved. And only thing I can do is look at what am I doing? So I guess what I'm doing is I'm spending a lot of time in my other account. This main account isn't getting the same kind of time that I normally have put into it day in and day out. And I need to get back to that. And basically, because these are collector's items, there's still going to be collector's items, a month from now, 2 years from now. And I don't have to get these all up right now. So I can take my time and just list them. But my other account, I need to keep them the same level of items listed and the same amount of time spent with my existing listings. And as much as I sit up here and tell you the things that you need to do, I sometimes need to follow my own advice. So if I'm being honest with you and honest with myself, those are things we all need to kind of sit back when things aren't going well and say, what can I do differently? And maybe there's just one thing. Maybe you've hit crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, except for one place. And maybe you need to do that better and start finding things you can do better until things turn around, and just keep doing that. That makes sense. Hard time in the UK selling antiques, vintage, and collectibles. Been full time for 3 years, and sales this month are 45% down on a previous period. Wow, that's definitely not good. Let's hope that things get better. I mean, you're dealing with a summer slowdown, bad economy, even worldwide economy. I say that on a lot of videos, but that's the truth. Let's just hope that things get better. Ping G says, I do not want to offer free returns, although I do pay for returning shipping when a buyer has a problem. And that's fine, as long as you're offering some type of return solution. The idea of saying, just a bad look, saying that no returns. As a buyer, I'm like, why wouldn't you want this back if there's an issue? Why don't you stand behind your item? For me, as a buyer, potential buyer, I'm put off by that. And I may not buy that item. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I won't buy that item. I'm going to go and look for an alternative to that, because I see so many posts from people who just refuse to add a return policy to their listings, and they don't want to take the return back. And they're they'll post something on a Facebook forum saying, how can I avoid taking this return? Look, there's a problem with it. Take the return. Returns are a very small percentage of your sales anyway. And I mean, at least you're not Walmart. I mean, can you imagine after the holidays, the kind of returns that they get? See, you ever see the long lines that are at the mall or at a Walmart after Christmas? Can you imagine dealing with that kind of thing as an eBay seller? Yeah. So I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, I don't like returns when they happen, but it's such a small percentage of your sales. It's definitely not something to get worked up about. Let's see. Gene Irizarry, I hope I didn't mess up your last name there. Recommendations for promoted percentage in the electronics category. It's impossible to give you a recommendation. And the reason is, well, like for instance, I've had 2 toner cartridges and they're off by 1 model number. I mean, they were both black. They're both the same company. I believe they were for Brother. Okay. I listed them. One gave me like 4.5%. Listed another one. 5 minutes later, it wanted 5.6%. So what's that about? It's really tough. You can have some items, like I think cell phone items, that are like 10, 11, 12%. You can have other items that are like 2, 3%. So, and it changes. I've gone in and edited items. That same item I've edited. Let's say I had to go in and do something to the listing, and I go in and the recommended rate has changed. So I don't know if you've noticed that. I have. It's just like random to me. And so it's hard to recommend for any category a percentage. Now you can say, look, let's just go ahead and do 2% now, get ahead of the game, while others are still at 1. And you might be ahead for a little while until everyone's switched over. Or even then, people don't even change over. They're still stuck at 1, and then their sales drop because none of their listings are being promoted. I'd get on it now and get that 2% rate now before the deadline of the 11th of July. And Gordon says, we have put our promoted rate at 2%, but how far will sellers go just to get a sale? And some sellers just stop promoting if it gets too high. It's going to keep moving up. I wouldn't doubt that it goes to 3% at some point. That's why sourcing is so important. If I can pick up an item for $5, sells normally for 30, but I know that if I just want to move from it, it's not a high ticket item, I can get out of it for 20, lower it down to 20, get rid of it, make a note to myself, don't buy that again. That's what I'm going to do. And I scratch my head because it's like we want that unicorn buyer, right? We want them to come and buy our item at the price we feel is what it's worth to us. But are we really trying to sell the item if we're stuck on a price? That's kind of how I feel about a yard seller who, I want this item for 10. I can't give you 20 because I'm trying to sell it for 30 on eBay. They want 30 for it. They want eBay prices. How are they ever going to sell it? Even to someone who, is not trying to resell that item. I can buy it for 30 on eBay. Why would I want to give you 20? I can get it probably in better condition. So for me, it's got to get out of that mindset. The mindset should be, how do I get this item out of here? Okay. Peter says, nothing better than finding a nice lot of patches that are excellent and good condition. Yeah, I mean, things that are like World War II, and I have something here. I'm hopeful. We got 75 people, and I'm going to upset that one viewer who says, why are you always showing your patches? I'm trying to figure out what this is. Anybody know? And it's upside down. Sorry. I think it's an Italian paratrooper badge, 7th Brigade or something, but it has an anchor at the bottom. So for me, I have no idea. I've done Google Lens. I've contacted people on sites, and I have no idea. I can't sell it if I don't know what it is. I had a conversation with another seller saying, just set a price. But how can I set a price if I can't even set my title? So that's kind of where I'm at. And then Archie says, dang, I'm late to the party. How is everyone? We're doing great. How are you doing, Archie? Nice to talk to you. Every once in a while he'll come and hang out with us. So thanks for making it. No One Designed 2 says, I never use FedEx. I wouldn't, even if they are a little bit cheaper. That cheaper price is FedEx's way to bait you to use them so they can bait and switch their price to overcharge you. It's horrible. Definitely bait and switch. And I even reached out. And this is like a little over a year ago. I even reached out to a law firm to see about a class action lawsuit. I did that. And they never got back to me. So that just tells you, I'm a small fish in a large pond, and they ain't trying to go up against a large fish like eBay or FedEx for that matter. If Flips It Ships, I emailed Whatnot about a possible scam situation, and they could care less. I seen one where the guy scammed 15,000 out of people. Wow, I'd love to know more. We are looking at maybe doing a Whatnot. I am already approved for Whatnot. If you're not approved for Whatnot, you have to go through this whole like hour-long thing where it's sort of they got to approve you first, and they're looking for people who have social media influence. And I get it, because more people you can draw to their site, that type of thing, that's going to help you move your items. But I just don't know. I'm signed up. I just don't know what I want to. I'm going to sell these patches, but I just don't know if there's a demand. I mean, how many of you guys out there even care that I have patches? Probably not many. But I am planning on doing a Whatnot. Archie and I, we're probably going to do something where we like pull our stuff together and just split the profits, that kind of thing. But it's, what's the demand? I mean, would you guys go and check out if I had a Whatnot? Certainly, if that's the case, I'll announce it and include you guys. There's a lot of cool stuff that we have. Maybe you're interested, maybe you're not. But I'd like to know more about this scam situation. I'm always interested in understanding how people can get away with stuff like that. Not because I'm trying to get away with it, but I just think it's interesting. I'd like to know the ins and outs of the platform I'm working on, and that's just interesting. Peter says, I was good, genuine seller and buyer, but the bias is just too much. Thanks for the mention. No problem. And I'm kind of way behind you guys, aren't I? I apologize for that. IGO says, I appreciate your response, bro. No hard feelings here. I understand where you were coming from, and I just wanted to reciprocate. I have to go, but I'll check on the stream out later. And that's in regards to, you don't always have to agree with me in these comments, and that's fine. Just let's have a respectful conversation. That's one example of where it was respectful, and that's kind of what I want. I'm not always looking to be right. That's definitely never going to happen in my case. Maybe other channels they're right, and there's other channels that I get kind of miffed by because some of the mindset and the attitudes that some of these channels have is that this is my way, this is right, and there is no other way to be successful, and this is why you will fail and I will succeed. That's horrible. I mean, who would want? I watch the channel, but who would want to feel motivated by that? I don't. Sorry, I just don't. LSGS Rob says, I stopped using clear white backgrounds and have not seen a difference in traffic or sales. And I sell clothing, which is one of the most saturated. Yeah, it's saturated. Look at your traffic and see if your your non-organic views, your external views have gone up. I think it's the blue bar on that chart. We have Bill Buffo. You don't need 30-day returns for top rated, just for top rated plus. And I was on that here just a second ago. Top rated, that's top rated plus. Becoming top rated seller, have an eBay account, have at least 100 transactions and 1,000 sales, comply eBay's selling practices policy, meet the requirements, transaction rate, these performance standards requirements. So yes, top rated plus is 30-day or longer free returns is what they say. And that's on top rated plus. So that's reading verbatim from the policy on that one. Flip It Ships It says that went to 3 garage sales today and didn't buy anything. Maybe because people want too much for their stuff. And you're loaded with cash. I'm going shopping tomorrow and I almost forgot loaded with cash. I think some people would envy that situation. Let's see. Even with promoted listings, I average $8 to $12 profit per item. And even if you have that dead item that's just been sitting there forever, even if you break even, now I'm not saying make a habit of that, but if I can take that $10 that's sitting on my shelf behind me, it's never going to move until I find someone that wants to buy it at the right price. And it's just sitting there taking up space that I don't have. Why not find a better product and invest that $10 in? That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Let's see. IGO wants to know if I'm related to Shoenice 22. No idea who that is. Yeah, you guys look alike, and blah blah blah. I've been told that I've looked like Jason Bateman. If you ever watch Ozark. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying a lot of us look alike, I guess, huh? As you get older, you start looking alike. Wanda Greer, when wearing my buyer hat, it's not always a matter of price. I need to see a complete listing that gives me confidence and say, yeah. I mean, if you see someone has a one line in their description, do you really feel like they're putting the same kind of effort into their business than someone who has it all laid out in the description? To me, someone that has it all laid out in their description is someone that I think is going to take me a little more seriously. Now, on the flip side of that coin, I did order a big 50 pack of golf balls. You guys know I like to golf. And they sent me the wrong kind. Now, for some, it's a ball, right? You go and putt it, miniature golf, it doesn't matter. But it does matter if you're an avid golfer. And I got back to them saying, hey, look, you sent me the wrong stuff. And they never got back to me. And I just blew it off. I didn't file a return or anything because I still needed the golf balls. And they had a listing laid out perfectly. And I really thought that they were going to be someone that was going to handle me correct. I sent 2 messages. They never got back to me at all. Savage Pickers just revised all their listings to 5% across the board for promoted standard. Okay. I think I maxed out at 8, that kind of thing. Biff says, I spent a lot of time on my store, but I don't want to make a video. Just don't see what would be or how it would help. Yeah, once I get that notification, I guess I'll mess with it. I mean, I make videos for everything else, so might as well, huh? Let's see. Wanda says, remember eBay's famous for breaking promises to sellers? And that's horrible. I mean, why even? I guess I live under the adage, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You can ask all my friends. You can ask Archie. For the most part, if I tell you I'm going to do something, if I can't do it, I'm going to tell you, hey, I'm going to reach out. I'm not going to flake out, and to leave us sellers just sort of in the wind, waiting for you to act on a promise that you made last year. I think it's pretty horrible. No One Design says, hit the like, people. Get John a Nat's water. It's gone now. I don't know. It's just weird. It just, you get stuff that happens when you do these lives. It's not just good stuff, sales. You get gnats that like to harass you. But it is what it is. LSGS Rob says, sellers should really stop worrying about non-payers. You can cancel after 4 days. You know that if you don't have to immediate pay or accept offers, it can take 4 days, 10% of the time for me. And again, I think it boils down to the type of buyer. I had that video about these are the best type of buyers. I really think that certain niche buyers are better than your average. Well, I don't care. I made an offer and, I don't need it anymore. And I'm not going to follow through with what as part of the agreement between buyer and seller, they're not going to live up to their end. And that's just the way it is. If Elon bought Facebook, I would switch over to Marketplace for sure. See ya eBay. But even then, I think there needs to be, that site needs to be sort of focused more on individuals. Then there's a lot of just, here goes that gnat again. Yeah, so hit the like button. I need to get the gnat swatter. Jeez, I don't even have fly issues out here. Just one lone gnat that wants to get in my face. Facebook Marketplace, to me, I just can't get into for a number of reasons. Now, if it's a large item local, I will. Like I sell my liquidation boxes that I create. I sell those locally. Otherwise, though, I see a lot of the listings and I just can't. It just seems like there's a lot of trash listings that clutter up the site and really ruin the experience. Flipping Goody says, cross-listing and non-paying buyers could cost you on both sides. What happens if that same item sells on another platform when eBay buyer pays? What do you do? What do you do? I mean, as soon as that item is sort of accounted for, that buyer says, I want the item, that's when, I go in and the other sites and just delete the listing, or at least deactivate the listing, so that hopefully I can go back and just reactivate it if that buyer falls through. But for me, eBay takes precedent over the other sites because eBay is more punitive. The other sites, in my opinion, they don't hurt you as bad if you have to make that decision between a buyer on eBay and a buyer on Mercari. If it flips and ships, so he's got a counter offer. Low ballers are giving up. Well, not all of them. Trust me on that. A lot of times I'll use, hey, let's meet me halfway on this. And a lot of times that works. Nava Crow's Nest, the world around us, especially today, people's focus isn't on shopping for luxuries and collectibles. No, it's about how do I save enough money so I can get enough gas in my tank to get to work or wherever I need to go. Let's see. John, if you're going to go live on Friday, you might want to grab a beer or a shot. You know what? I can't say I don't drink. I don't drink. Okay. I don't drink. We're at family's house last weekend and they were all doing the fireball shots, and it's like, I don't drink, but I do like fireball. And I did one. I wasn't feeling good. I was tired and I wasn't feeling well. As you guys know, I still took the shot and I was good. And it kind of chilled me a little bit. But I don't drink. I drink my meal. I throw this in my water and it gets me kind of going. Otherwise, if I didn't have this, I would probably be a mess and I wouldn't be worth watching. Let me put it that way. And for some of you, might not even feel like I'm worth watching even with it. But thankfully, I do have great people like you that think otherwise and are hanging with me today. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. We have 74 people. I'm going to try to get to as many more of these as I can, but we're going to have to go pretty soon because I do need to get some things finished today with my listings and stuff. Caleb says Walmart doesn't pay for returns. They force a manufacturer to. You know, one thing that you might be surprised about, eBay, or not eBay, but Walmart, they will send their items to TRG, which is direct liquidation. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. The reason why I knew this is, or I know this is because when you get their return lots, they have a sticker on there from direct liquidation that the buyer fills out, and they are actually shipping that item to TRG directly. They're taking Walmart out of the process. So I don't think the manufacturer is paying for it. I really think Walmart's paying for that return label to get it to TRG, but they are removing themselves entirely from that process. Now, what TRG does with it, I've had conversations with their CEO. They don't put a lot of the good stuff in their pallets anymore. That's why I don't buy their stuff anymore. Unfortunately, I had great success when they were keeping the returns organic, but I have a lot of success, or I have a lot of experience with Walmart returns to know that. Chingji says that's a problem with cross postings and not keeping on top of all your listings where you can double sell. But again, eBay takes precedent as far as who gets the sale if I have multiple sales, because they're more punitive, and I don't want to deal with getting my account knocked down. As we talked about the different levels of the seller levels on eBay, you want to keep as high up to the top as you can to help yourself succeed in the best match search. Collecting Chaos says, I'm still on free listings, but to continue listing through the end of the month will cost me $21, which is still less expensive than getting a store. That will change very soon. I recommend, if you think that this is something that you are going to do long term, get a store, because you will get access to coupons. I think the public coupon is an awesome thing to have in your listings, even at like 5%. And of course, you can do markdown sales. And there's people that search by sales. They want the deal. And if you don't have that markdown sale ability, you just are not competing on the same level. LSGS Rob, if you can deal with an extra 1%, then you need to source better. I agree that it's a principle at the end of the day, but you can't let the uncontrollables control your business. And you're right. And again, that video I made about a week ago about the one being 2%, not 1%. It's the mentality. It's not the 1%, because I know that fee increases are going to happen on this platform. It's the mentality that eBay has towards their sellers. And I would love nothing more. If anything, I can understand the increases. I can accept the increases. I want to see that mindset on eBay's part change. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to try to scroll down a little bit to catch up to you guys. LSGS Rob says, I tried Facebook, but still make more and get more traffic. 12 to 18% in fees is peanuts compared to the traffic we get. And we do get a lot of traffic on eBay. That's why I'm still here. If we didn't have the kind of traffic that eBay provides, I would be on the other sites exclusively. Collecting Chaos says, I'm glad you keep mentioning the patches. It keeps me in the back of my mind. If I see them at a good price, I should pick them up. Yeah, just people are trying to get, look, when times are bad, people are like this. I need money. I have stuff in my garage. I have stuff that I really don't need anymore, but just taking up space. Maybe I can make a quick $500 to pay my car note. So they'll put it up on OfferUp or something like that. And that's an opportunity. It really is for sellers. I mean, I hate to think that I'm taking advantage of a bad situation, but if you don't do it, someone else will. And I think that's the part of flipping. You got to find opportunities. And that was just one that thankfully Archie was able to find, and we took advantage of. LSGS Rob says, you should do a whatnot. You have a good following and do a lot of cool stuff to offer. Just do it. Yeah, that's the thing. With anything you do, whether it's took me like 9 months to do my first YouTube video, it's just getting started with anything is the toughest thing, right? So it's that fear of, what if I fall on my face? What if no one shows up? What if no one cares? Even though I do have a following, I still have that in the back of my mind that, not everyone cares. I mean, there's people like get mad at me because I show that I have a patch, and it's like, this is what I am. This is what I sell. I would buy this all day long and I would enjoy selling it if that's all I was able to sell. So maybe I'll do that. I think it's going to happen for sure, but just something we have to set up. Let's see. Caleb says doing not white backgrounds is easier if you're set up for it and doing it right. You can take photos on your bed. If you have decent light, just throw your light on, take photos on your bed, go to like a photo room and upload your photos, take the white background off, or even use the free tool that eBay provides as well. Tommy's in the house. Tommy Bernard podcast. I didn't know if you're going to show up today. Every platform depends on what you sell. Like Mike, a gold mine for one is a waste of time for another. Facebook is absolute garbage for me. eBay has 300% sell through, and it just 100%, like we talked about before, depends on your particular situation, your sourcing, your everything. If you have it figured out, there's no need to go to marketplace or anything. I mean, the only reason why I even partnered with Prime Lister was because to me it made sense to talk about finding ways to branch out to other sites if you're not in a situation like Tommy where you're just killing it, right? If you're looking for ways to get more eyes in front of your items, a tool like Prime Lister, and there's others out there, but this is the one that I partnered with because I really liked working with their software, is working with other companies. Of course, hit the link down below for my affiliate link if you're interested in trying it. But if you're not killing it, not everyone's going to kill it. I don't care. You can watch all the good channels out there, and maybe even mine, and we'll tell you everything we need to tell you. But if you don't have the kind of items like maybe Tommy has or other sellers who are killing it, you're going to have to find other creative ways to get more eyes on your items. And that's just the way it is. He says, also, it's not a blanket. I somehow have 20-ish items that have free returns and they're top rated plus. Rest is top rated. Yeah, and you get that 10% discount on those top rated plus items. Let's see. PNG says, I sell in a niche and haven't had a non-payer probably a couple of years. That's awesome. But again, they're just a different type of buyer. It's just a different type of buyer. And I really think that, it's sort of like when I was in the corporate world for 26 years, companies would make just policies, right? And this would hurt people. You wonder why they do it. It's always that one or two bad, in this case on eBay's side, bad buyers that cause policies to change, for sellers to reach out and say, you know what, we need instant payment on these auctions. We need instant payment on best offers. And that's their experience. But sellers who are selling in these niches aren't experiencing that. So it is what it is. If I could, like I said, sell these patches all day long, I would get away from the general goods. I tell you that. Captain Photon is in the house. Just closed. Oops, I just lost it here. I just closed my international business through eBay. Only domestic now. Buyer gave me a song and dance, but what I sent him and buyers can lie, and I ain't paying $70 to send it back. Wow, that's horrible. But it happens. It doesn't matter where they're at. You're going to find buyers like that. Why work? Everyone have a great weekend. It's fun to be part of this community. I'm going to wrap it up a little bit. I just want to catch up here if I can. Kid Wilson wants to know what kind of golf balls I play. Well, the golf ball behind me on that, I can't even do it. You see it right there. I'll try to get there. That plaque, because everything's backwards on this camera. That is a hole-in-one, and that's my Chrome Soft. So that's what I prefer, hitting Chrome Softs. Callaway. Collecting Chaos says, white poster board outside is a great way to take photos of the white background. Right. It's a good way, but you can do better if you use one of those tools and just find a location where you have good lighting, and it doesn't have to be even on a white poster board. I have a white PVC. I think it's like a 30 by 60 piece that's hung down. You guys see when I make my videos out there. And I use that as my base, but I know that it's not perfect, and I'll still use the background removal tool on that. Let's see. Can PDX. I don't know if that means Portland. That's what it means in Amtrak is Portland. But hi all, your video on the unicorn buyer really hit home. Some of my friends don't sell anything if they only make $15. Realize now I'm not them. Got to be me, and my money is, yeah, it's your money is your money. Don't let someone influence you because they won't do it. If it works for you, then get rid of that item, flip it, make a couple bucks, and move on to the next item. Let's see. Loose Star Wars figures is what I get non-payment on. I'm sure you can add that just to a large list of items. A lot of stuff that I don't get non-payment. I sold a coffee maker, I made them a deal, and they still didn't pay. After emails, that's fine. Flipping Goody says, have I ever heard of Maisel golf clubs? No, never heard of Maisel. I've heard some off brands, but for me, I could probably hit the old persimmon stuff and would suck, but I still try. I have a hole in one. That doesn't mean I'm any good. I just got lucky that day. I really think my dad was involved with that because it happened literally 2 weeks after he passed away, and we played golf together all the time. So as soon as I hit it, I kind of looked up in the sky and I was like, wow. And I told myself, I said, that wasn't me. I told my buddies, I didn't hit that, even though I did. It was pretty awesome. And when Design 2 says, hey, John, great lives always. We'll see you next. Got to go and start doing shipping. Yeah, I'm tying you guys up. So I want to thank you guys really for taking the time to really be a part of this program. We're another hour and 20 minutes in, and that's kind of usually where I want to leave it. An hour and 15 is kind of where I want to be, because after a while, it's just like I got people that are bailing. They have 67 people, and I think that enough is enough. So thank you guys. Have an excellent weekend. Do me a favor. If you want your Flippin' Ain't Easy merch, the link down below. All this helps the channel, whether you're trying out the Prime Lister software and give it a shot. Maybe you hate it. Maybe you love it. Give it a shot. But of course, get your hat, get your shirt. It's all kinds of stuff that they have to get on the Flippin' Ain't Easy merchandise down below. So guys, maintaining your seller status is probably one of the most important things you can do on eBay, but it's just yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great weekend, and we will talk to you very soon. Have a good one, everyone.